Hi everyone. So did you recently welcomed a newborn in your family after you have already submitted your spousal PR application for your spouse? So yes, first of all, congratulations. But what's next for the immigration process? So if you're wondering how to add newborn to the spousal PR application, which is already in process, without any complications, without any delays, and yes, if you're also wondering about the potential impact this addition could have on the processing timeline of the complete PR application, then yes, this video is for you. So I'll try my best in this video to explain you the complete process of adding your newborn to the existing PR application, which is already in process, so that your newborn and the spouse can get the PR at the same time. So those of you who are watching my video for the first time, I am Neha Bhalla. I am a regulated, licensed Canadian immigration consultant, basically licensed to give you, immigration related advice and also file your applications related to any immigration process like citizenship, your immigration, visas for Canada purpose. And our company, as you can see here, SAMS Global Immigration, provides all immigration related services. If you want to contact us, then here is the number below for both our offices in India and in Mississauga, Ontario. So without wasting any time, let's jump to the today's topic of discussion, that is including adding your newborn to the already existing spousal PR application so that your newborn and the spouse gets PR at the same time. So yes, starting with the today's discussion, we are going to discuss these broad categories today. First of all, the 4 steps through which you will be able to add your newborn, add your child to the existing spousal PR application, the important 4 steps. In these steps, we'll talk about the documents also. And yes, the next we'll talk about what happens after you add your child to the application, what next. Then we're also going to discuss some important tips for the application. Otherwise, it could result in a decline of the application also due to some minor points which are not noticed by you. And yes, after that, we'll also talk about the potential impact of adding your newborn to the application on the processing timing of the application. Yes, let's start with the first about the 4 steps of the application. So step 1 is informing IRCC. The first step is your part, that you have to go and inform IRCC. So when a child is born, after the spousal PR application is already submitted, it's essential that you go ahead, update IRCC about this new dependent. And if you don't inform IRCC, it could lead to delays, complication, or could even risk the spouse's PR application. So yes, Canada Immigration is very strict about all these things. They clearly say that if there is any change in the family composition, do inform us as soon as possible. So yes, it's important. So now comes the part when to inform IRCC about this, new addition. So timing is important. So as soon as your child is born, go ahead and apply for the birth certificate and get the passport of the child. Now update IRCC through a web form that yes, you have been blessed with a newborn and you want to include the newborn in the spousal PR application so that the spouse and the child get PR at the same time. Now talking about the web form, how to raise a web form, I have already pasted the web form link below in the captions. You can go ahead and click that link. It will ask a series of questions like the application number, UCI number. You can fill those details and then talk about getting added the child to the application. In the web form, make sure you mention the name of the child, whatever you have kept the name for the newborn child, mention the name, and if the if the birth certificate and passport are already generated, you have those documents, attach those in the web form. But in case you don't have the birth certificate or passport, just mention in the web form that you have applied for these documents and they'll be generated soon. But yes, make sure to mention the name of the child. So now comes the step 2. Step 2 is to be done by IRCC and not by you. So step 2 basically means communication by IRCC to you. So now IRCC will communicate through email to you. They will send a letter to you about what are the next steps that's required from you. So here you can see the format of the letter that they will send you. So they have mentioned the UCI number, application number, telling you that you have 30 days to respond to this letter, and they have given you all the documentation that's now required from your side, including few forms, the government fees and all. So now let's talk about the step 3, that is something required on your part, that is the complete documentation preparation, the complete package that needs to be prepared to send to the IRCC. So now as you can see here on this site, what are the documents or the forms that is required. So IMM 1344 form, this form you would have already submitted while you applied for the spousal PR, but now you are required to fill this form again. The newly completed signed form is required. Then IMM 0008, this form also you would have filled while applying the spousal PR application. So this form, when you applied for the spousal PR, that was an online portal, so you know it would be the online form that you would have applied. But now you can go ahead, type IMM 0008 on Google, you can download that form and then fill this form. So again, these two forms, basically you have to refill the forms. And then the documentation which is needed is the child's birth certificates, that's a mandatory proof, and in case your child is adopted, then a proof of adoption is needed. The copy of the child's passport is required, and then yes, a proof is required that the child has undergone a medical examination. Yes, if you call the medical authorities, the panel doctors, and they say that they cannot do the medicals because you don't have that form, medical request form from IRCC. Medical authorities, if the panel doctors, they do not do it without that form, then what you can do is raise a web form again to IRCC. Tell them that you contacted the panel doctors and they said that medicals cannot be done as they don't have the IME number generated or the medical request letter from IRCC. In this case, now IRCC will generate a request letter, medical instructions letter for you and send it to you. Then you can download that letter and show that to the panel doctors. Now they will conduct the medicals for the child. So yes, this step is important, that the child, yes, even a newborn child has to undergo a medical examination. That's a mandate from the Canada authorities. And remember, medicals can only be done after the child has a passport. So it's very important, that as soon as the child is born, you apply the birth certificate and passport, because these two things will be required till the end of the process. Very important. And yes, the last thing is the government fees. The processing fee is just 175 CAD for the newborn. So how you have to pay the fees is, I have pasted the link in the below captions. So you can press that link. That's a separate website paying the government fees. So you go there and pay the processing fees of 175. You can download that receipt from there and attach to this complete package. So yes, these were the forms and documents and step 4. Now by the step 3, you would have prepared the complete documentation that needs to be submitted to the IRCC. Now the question is how to submit that. So step 4 is how to submit your documents to IRCC. So in this case, you have two options. One is either you can link the spouse PR application to the GCK. If you know what a GCK is, how to make a GCK account, you can make a GCK account and link the PR application to the GCK, and therein you can upload the documents. If you are not aware about this, because this GCK process is an instant process, instantly they'll get your documents. But if not, if this option is not feasible for you, what you can do is again raise a web form. Again, you can raise a web form and using the same web form link which I have pasted in the caption. Using that link, go to the web form, raise a web form and send all these documents through one web form to IRCC again. So when they receive all these documents, you will get a confirmation email from IRCC that yes, they have received your documents and they are now processing the application. So yes, these were the two options by which you can send your documents to IRCC. Now let's talk about what happens after you have completed the 4 steps. So as I said, once you have submitted your documents to the IRCC, IRCC will basically acknowledge that. They will send you an email. They have received your documents and now your child, your dependent will be added to the application. So just keep an eye on your emails for any additional requests, because sometimes they might feel, that okay, this part was missing, that this part was missing in the forms, or some information additionally they require from your side. So just keep an eye on your emails. Keep checking your trash also, so that any emails come from IRCC regarding that, you should be aware of. And make sure to follow up with them. Don't hear back anything from them within, a reasonable time. So now some very important tips for the application is any document that you have that is not in English or either in French, that must be accompanied by English or French translation. Suppose you have the birth certificate of the child, suppose it is in Gujarati or is in Tamil, any regional language, then yes, you have to get it translated and submit the translated document also and the original also, and make sure that the translation is done only by a certified translator. Otherwise that translated document will also not be acceptable and they'll come back to you and you'll have to do the whole process again. And yes, remember, you have 30 days to respond. So if you think that you will not be able to respond in 30 days, there is some issue like the passport has not yet arrived, or maybe you need some extra time for any other documentation, so make sure raise a web form, request them to grant you some more days, mentioning the reasons why you need more time. And very important is always stay very proactive with your immigration process. So if you are unsure regarding any documentation, that anything goes wrong, you're not sure how to fill the form, you're not sure about anything, then it's better to always hire or consult an immigration consultant, a licensed immigration consultant for your file. Now next, talking about the potential impact on the processing time. So some people think that adding dependent to the file will again increase the processing timing of the application a lot. Yes, it might take some time for adding the dependent. They will acknowledge your documents, they will check again the forms and the new documents. It might take some time for the medicals, but it's an imperative step, it's an important step. You have to add the child to the application so that the child and the spouse gets the PR at the same time. But yes, it do not takes that much time, but definitely some time will be added to the processing for sure. So yes, adding a newborn to the spousal PR application is a crucial step, and yes, doing it right the first time will make you save time and stress also. If you are unsure, do consult us. You can consult us on this number. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video, and do share it with your friends and relatives or anyone who is in need of this video. Yes, if you have got more questions, then don't worry, you can drop your questions in the comments below. I'll try my best to get back to as many questions as I can. Yes, let's make your Canadian immigration journey as smooth as possible. Thanks for watching.